Good evening. It's August 28th, 7:06, and the Town Council meeting, Leeds Town Council meeting is called to order. Roll call.
Frank Waco.
Wayne Peterson.
Angela Rohr. I'm not sure what Nate Blake is doing. He called to say he wouldn't be here. Joe's mother is dealing with cancer, and he's gone to Salt Lake to help out there. But we do have a quorum. Pledge of allegiance.
Please salute the flag and join me. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any abstentions or conflicts?
I have none.
The consent agenda, including the minutes from the August 14th meeting.
I make a motion to accept tonight's consent agenda consisting of tonight's agenda and the meeting minutes of August 14th, 2013.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Announcements. Probably most of you have heard about the car fire at the post office. Was that yesterday?
Yes.
You can still see the damage.
Car was removed.
Car was removed today. Did you get to see it, or were you already gone?
I saw it after.
That's the best time to see it. I understand Mark Osmer made a heroic effort, jumped in and got the car out away from the building and the other cars. You could see that it was burned pretty badly. Okay. Let's see. Announcements. We were at Water Conservancy's agreement meeting that was all the mayors and water managers in the area, and since Leeds had signed the pooling agreement with Washington County some years ago, we are part of that. And so we got a rundown on kind of where things stand. The wettest winter and season was 2005. The driest was 2002. So we have a lot of up and down. Can't necessarily say that we have a 22 or 25-year cycle. I think they're very hopeful that the wet winter may fill the reservoirs so that the rest of the county at least gets water. And doesn't have to do a lot of conserving, although that is a direction that they need to move in. He is, as always, pushing the pipeline as necessary for the future, and that remains to be seen, but there's always pluses and minuses to everything. Any other announcements or comments? The dumpster days will be next month, coming soon again, and we're encouraged to please try to put everything inside the bins. It's been requested that maybe we leave the doors on both of them open so people can get as much stuff back in. Let's see. Mr. Comas, who lives near the dumpster site, which is down that line, Mill Road here, has been charging the town $150 each dumpster day, each time dumpster day comes around, because he takes his backhoe, whatever you call it, and packs it in. Otherwise, the dumpsters are free to us, except somebody deposited tires, and we got billed separately, charged for tires. Tires, paint, and a number of other things are not allowed. They have to go separately to the landfill. So they took them, but they charged us for it.
What are the charges for those? How much?
That's expensive.
Not expensive, but it gets advertised out.
Yeah.
It really costs that much. We'll be inundated with tires. Unknown depositors. And speaking of unknown depositors, our bennies lately have been accumulating a lot of stuff. The bennies were closed, in effect, for about a week by the waste management because their truck had broken down and they couldn't get around to do regular pickups. However, ours were not overflowing, so there was still ample space to deposit things. But I went by during that time or just after it and saw 6 huge garbage bags full of what appeared to be tin cans, smoking tins, or chewing tobacco tins, and looked like tremendous wads of paper. Then I noticed the next day they were gone, and I was assuming that maybe Antonio had taken care of it, but I understand no, that the owner of the property was taking care of it, and that's not something they should have to do. So we're really encouraging people to please don't leave anything outside the bins. They have small openings for certain reasons, and that is to limit the kinds of things that go in. For those of you who might have glass that you're depositing, they still accept it, but last year, because no glass recyclers were willing to pay anything for the glass, each town got charged, in other words, for the glass that was collected through the bins. And the wastewater solid waste management meeting that I went to last week or the week before, I asked specifically about that. So why don't we just throw it in the trash can? He said he thought that was a very good idea, and then we wouldn't get deducted from the income. Last year was our lowest deduction since we started. I mean, the lowest overall amount since we started the biddings about 4 years ago. And but it is still worthwhile. It was well over $800, and those monies go to town events. And if we did Wild West Days again, that would give us some money to work with from there. And we used some of it for the Princess Pageant. So it benefits our community as well as our overall environment. It decreases the amount of stuff that goes into the landfill, prolonging the life of the landfill and reducing their costs. So recycling is great. Okay, let's see. Anything else? All right. Moving on. Public hearings. We don't have any. Action items, we have one action item of discussion and possible action on a new town website. We've had a few complaints over the last few years, and we knew it needed updating. So we were working in that direction. And we, Christy, our deputy clerk, has done a lot of research on it and gotten arranged for some bids from a variety of sources. And we did have one very generous offer from Karen to design our website. It wasn't totally free, but it was very generous in the fees that were offered. But we felt like it was time to look at the long term and to go with a professional situation. So tonight we're looking at the InfoWest. And Wayne, can you tell us about that?
Sure. Had an opportunity to meet with them on one occasion here in person and to get information that they provided in a follow-up basis. They have produced over 100 websites to this point in time. They have 4 positions in their department that actually work on this on an ongoing basis. So it's an area that is a business department within InfoWest, something that is likely to continue on for the foreseeable future. Their ongoing costs for actually hosting the site and hosting the domain name is less than what we are paying right now. The cost of developing the site is estimated, and they've said this is the high end of their estimate, and this has been their practice, that they will estimate and generally come in lower and you pay less if it takes them less time. To design and program up the website would be $2,640. It's going to be done in a language known as Django, which is a very user-friendly language and would allow us to update things in an instantaneous basis here without having to go to an outside developer and say this is what we'd like to see on the site and wait days or perhaps even weeks for that to take place. So I think it will allow us as we go forward. It also provides an unlimited number of email addresses at no cost, and I think it would be very valuable for the town to be able to start effectively communicating with its elected officials and its planning commission members through emails that are dedicated to their activity with the town of Leeds here. So I think they're all positives there. It is an upfront cost, but it's one that will give us, I think, greater flexibility, greater stability as we go forward, and on an annual basis will offer some current cost savings over what our annual charges are.
Frank, do you have any questions?
No. I think it's a good proposal. And we talked about it in the last council meeting.
I'd like to make a motion, unless you have other comments you wanted to make right now, Mayor.
I would just say that we met with 2 of the people at length, and Casey has been there 4 years, so there is stability in this company, in this department.
Okay, I'd like to move that we accept the proposal from InfoWest to spend up to $2,640 for website design and programming in order to develop the new Town of Leeds website.
I second that.
Okay, since this is an expenditure, we need to do a roll call vote.
Frank Boyko votes aye.
Wayne Peterson, aye.
Angela Moore, aye. Okay, so that passes. We had discussion of the LDWA water tank on the agenda. We were notified that they would not be able to be here to do the presentation. So it's looking like a short meeting. I would like to, yes, you get to go home and eat dinner actually.
Right.
I would like to say that Planning Commission meets next Wednesday, and they have an interesting and full agenda. Christy, I don't have it sitting in front of me. Could you prompt us on what's on that agenda?
Chapter 17 is on there of the land use plan.
That's the commercial portion.
We have a lot line adjustment that's on there. We have a conditional use permit that's on there. And possibly a variance. Several things on there.
So it is looking like we're going to have a full number of Planning Commission people for that meeting. So that'll be a first for quite a while. So that would be nice. Staff reports. Oh, wait. Citizen comments. Anybody that wants to make a comment? Not tonight, please.
About any topic? About any topic?
About any topic. Even if it was already on our agenda, you can still tell us about it.
I'm Ron Cuddy, and I live in Silver Reef. And there are just a couple of things I'd like to mention here. One, I understood there was going to be a mayor's town walk coming up. Is that
October 12th, it's a Saturday,
October 12th?
9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, and I'm wondering if there might be some way that we could invite people to come up to the museum.
I've already arranged months ago with Eric, even before the museum was open, that he would have it open for the walk. And while the walk will just be mostly down here in town, in the pre-talk that usually goes on, I'm going to tell people that once they finish the walk, to please, if they want to, walk the 2.5 miles up to the Silver Reef Museum, or get in their cars and drive up there and take a look, that there will be someone there to give them information and tour the museum and see the area. And then if they do this next year, then maybe we'll just concentrate it out there.
Okay. The second topic, I want to call attention to an article in the Spectrum about vacation rentals. I don't know if any members of the town council have a chance to read it, but it's causing considerable anxiety in Washington, St. George. And they're facing some of the same problems we've identified here at Leeds. And I just think this highlights that we need to make sure that we're on firm ground in addressing this issue. If anybody hasn't seen this, I'll be happy to share it with them.
I brought it to the staff meeting Tuesday just to emphasize the fact that we weren't the only ones that were having difficulties, that other communities are also. And they listed many of the same things that we were seeing.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing it.
The third
If
issue.
you don't want to keep it, Chrissy, did you keep that copy I brought in, the newspaper?
I'll give it to her to you now. The third issue was voting. I read on the town website that right now the town is planning to vote, have a ballot to vote for the election. And if it turns out that we have an unopposed, in the sense of no candidates that are opposed, my suggestion would be that we, I know it's been under consideration that we not have a ballot, but we might have some kind of a meet the candidates night, and maybe some of the money we use for the ballots to provide some refreshments or an ice cream night or something like that. Invite people in and give them a chance to get acquainted, because since you don't have a normal campaign, people don't really know everybody that's involved here, at least in terms of their position on issues, and I think that would be healthy for the town to.
I think that's an excellent idea. So if we do it at the regular council meeting tonight, then maybe we get a bigger attendance?
Well, I can't guarantee that. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? So for those of you who have not met the Amy's, they're newer residents on Dunker Way. Nice to have you with us tonight. Staff reports.
None.
I have none for this evening.
Okay.
So should I move that we adjourn?
Not yet.
Oh.
So Joe's not here to do anything about the parks, but I would say that Antonio has reported to us that he has gotten the water fountain up in Silver Reef Park running again. And since it probably froze some years ago, and that's why it hasn't worked, we will probably turn it off when we get to freezing temperatures, or we'll try to work out some kind of frost-free situation, because I don't think we turned the park right here, water off, because it gets a lot easier for kids. Frank, I was wondering, since you were not going to be with us in about 4 months, and you're the one with all the information on the roads and background, and I think Nate's going to have a little trouble making the adjustment.
It'll be easy.
Okay, so
We'll
are
hold
you
it.
going to write everything down?
No, because we'll get a bunch of stuff done.
Oh, okay.
So it won't be a problem. This is a good time right now is businesses are looking for work. We kind of done this in the past late, but it's still tradition to do it. So, and Nate thinks that there will be a lot of people who be willing to do the work. So,
I was wondering, I've talked to Antonio about this. There's several places in our roads on the west side where, when it's a curve, it would be nice if there was a visible center line. He and I were wondering if it's against the law for us to go out and just paint the curve a yellow stripe to indicate where the center is.
We can do that, but we have to have the road of a certain, width standards for that, so we just have to see what the standards are.
Okay. The thing that brought it freshly to mind was leaving my house and making that dangerous curve in front of your house. I encountered somebody who was taking the middle of the road, which is only like 18 feet wide right there,
Yeah.
and there's not much place to go. So I thought, for those who don't know what this road looks like, a center line stripe might help keep them where they need to be.
Yeah,
All right.
we have a lot of those that are a problem.
Including the Silver Reach one that, I just thought there would be a stopgap.
Right.
Help for those who don't travel roads, but not even.
Okay. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
That means I got 4 months left in